we're here to make a new type of news.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Making news just for you. It's April 24th here in Seoul. I'm Shin Yeun, and you're watching News Generation. Joining me in the studio is Choi Ji-hee.
Good morning.
Good morning, and Kwon Ju-yeon.
Happy Hump Day.
Happy Hump Day. Now, both are here to speak on behalf of people in their 20s and 30s. As usual, let's start with our news feed, which covers different hashtags and news items that have been trending on social media over the past 24 hours. A study published in the Annals of Internal Medicine on Monday found that hospitalized women are less likely to die or be readmitted if they're treated by female doctors. The study found that among people aged 65 and older, only 8.15% of women treated by female physicians died within a month. This was slightly lower than 8.38% of women who died after being treated by a male physician. Though the difference seems slim, researchers said the gap could save 5,000 women's lives each year. The study said female doctors seem to be better at communication and pay more attention to their patients, which turned out to be more beneficial. Moving on, the Personal Information Protection Commission, which is Korea's private information protection watchdog, has requested that Chinese e-commerce giants comply with Korea's laws on personal data protection. During a meeting with Beijing officials last week, the PIPC's vice chairperson Choi Jang-hyuk pointed out how Chinese e-commerce firms like AliExpress and Temu have emerged as major players in Korea. According to WhatsApp Retail Goods, the number of monthly users of AliExpress reached 8.18 million in February. That was a 130% jump from a year ago. Temu has also emerged as the fourth biggest online shopping mall here in the country. Since the meeting, the PIPC is to monitor how AliExpress and Temu have been collecting consumer data and make sure that they abide to all laws related to personal data. Moving on, YouTube is tightening its grip on monitoring content, especially so that inappropriate content that isn't suitable for minors is not easily distributed. As of now, violent and sexually explicit content can be watched through the platform. And according to a survey of around 1,000 high school students conducted by the Korea Youth Policy Institute, around half of those surveyed had experience watching movies that require parental guidance. To respond to growing concerns and complaints from parents, YouTube has announced that it will strengthen its restricted mode function that automatically blocks harmful content for minors. Now, this function hasn't yet been rolled out to its fullest extent, and experts also stress that it's up to the parents and the education system to teach what proper media literacy looks like from a young age. And here at the studio, Ju-yeon is a mother of two sons, which is why I would like to ask her, do you agree that there's a lot of inappropriate content that your sons might be susceptible to, especially since YouTube is so easy at hand? And has that ever posed a concern to you, and what did you do about it?
Well, there are so many violent clips on YouTube, I do believe so. So I am concerned about what he watches. The other day, I was watching a cartoon with him. It was just a normal children's cartoon, but suddenly a violent material popped up in the screen in different language, in Russian and different language as well. So, and I also heard that one expert that he said teenagers should never ever watch violent materials until he or she becomes an adult, because their brains are fresh, clean, and still developing, and could negatively impact their mental well-being for the long period of time. And so what are adults doing? We should make and create a safe online platform for them and keep an eye on them, what they're watching all the time. And also the YouTube, they are earning lots of money from advertisements and membership, premium membership. So they should put more money, emphasis on the monitoring sensing system, and also enforce the age limits as well.
I completely agree. It shouldn't be just up to YouTube, but also the parents. I think both sides need to be on board with this. Then I think we've been mentioning in the past that media literacy seems to be so important, and promoting it from a young age seems to be key, but how can we do that?
Well, I think we should introduce basic media literacy concepts as early as preschool or even kindergarten, and teach children about different types of media and how to critically engage with them. Perhaps also use interactive and engaging methods like games and quizzes to make learning media literacy more enjoyable and relatable for these children. And I think it's important to teach key skills, crucial in today's digital age, because kids these days, they're growing up in a flood of content, digital content. Critical skills such as critical thinking and fact-checking are important for these kids to know growing up with these digital content.
I completely agree, and especially since they have gadgets at such a young age now. I've seen so many parents give their, maybe even toddlers, even before they go to preschool, to watch different YouTube content on their phones, which is why it's really really important to teach media literacy from a young age. And speaking of media, I don't know about you guys, but there's one habit that I want to personally fix, and it's watching shorts or reels before I fall asleep. I always start with just wanting to watch one good video, but then I end up watching rows and rows of different reels, and then it goes on for hours. And by the looks of it here in the studio, I think our panelists can relate. Among the various videos I enjoy, reaction videos keep popping up as well. So I'd like to start our discussion here. Chi, could you first walk us through on what these reaction videos are like these days and why they're growing in popularity?
Sure. So in recent times, a new form of content, just like you said, these reaction videos or reaction content has gained immense popularity, especially on YouTube. And it involves providing commentary or evaluation of entertainment shows with a particular focus on dating programs. Now, the younger audience seems to be more interested in this kind of content, which includes criticizing the behavior of the so-called villains in the show and analyzing the psychology of the participants who are quite difficult to understand in terms of how they act on these shows. And many YouTubers engage in this form of content, and it's become quite diverse in nature as well.
Yeah, and I've seen these reaction videos myself, and I think the biggest advantage is you can see their original content, but also the reaction from either celebrities, different panelists, and the way they react is also entertaining itself. Jiyeon, would you like to add on how popular reaction videos are these days?
Of course. Well, many experts analyze the reason why young people, the MZ generations, are so enthusiastic about reaction videos is because it meets their need for connection in a world where face-to-face interactions are less common. You know, these days, many people, the young generations, prefer to meet online rather than, you know, face-to-face meetings. So, but the thing is, they still desire to talk. They would like to talk to someone. They do like to talk to each other. So watching reaction videos, clips, lets viewers relate to YouTubers and talk to each other in the comments. So this is sort of a way, this is kind of a way of connecting with each other, and also sharing their feelings at the same time.
It's a bit more immersive, I guess.
Indeed.
And also with more shorts and reels trending, I think our generation's attention span, unfortunately, has gotten much shorter than before. It's harder for us to commit a full 2 or 3 hours to finish a movie. And to lessen this burden, we're seeing more summary clips come out. So are you familiar with this type of content? And if so, why do you think these summary clips are gaining so much popularity as well?
Right, I'm very familiar with these content, and I've been recommended to watch them as well. And recaps, like you said, have been a popular trend on YouTube for a few years now, really. And they condense a drama episode into a short video, usually 20 to 30 minutes long, or even an hour or less for a full whole episode. And some of the most popular YouTubers who do these recaps have over 23 million subscribers, meaning a lot of people watch them. And this trend has expanded beyond videos and even into texts. And even services that summarize videos into texts have gained a lot of popularity as well. And even books, not just videos, are also being adapted into shorter versions, such as 15 to 20-minute versions as well. And I think there is a growing popularity over these shorter content because, like you said, of the shorter attention span that we're seeing among the younger generation. And they prefer watching shorter ones to really be able to look at the result quickly because they're a lot impatient than before.
But also, I think sometimes it's used as a promo effect as well. I might be looking through all these different recap videos and choosing which movie I want to actually watch based on these shorter clips. Now, Jiyeon, would you like to add on as to why these summary videos are gaining popularity?
Of course. Well, the popularity of such summary videos is due to the MZ generation's emphasis on 시성비, valuing efficiency and time investment. 시성비 is a Korean term that combines the word 시간 or time and 가성비 or cost effectiveness. It's a concept of maximizing the benefit, the value of something in relation to the time spent on. So the MZ generation prioritizes efficiency and productivity in relation to time investment. In a fast-paced society, they want to make sure their content choices are worth their time in order to avoid disappointment or failure. You know, these days there's so many things to watch online. We would like to know the ending as well because of the curiosity, but with limited time. So choosing the summary clips are the solution. It's the solution for them.
With the demand for more summary clips, we are seeing a split there. There are summary clips that have the ending to movies or dramas, but for other people like myself who are using this as like an introductory or maybe an appetizer to the actual film, some don't have any spoilers, so I think we're seeing diversification there. And as much as we're seeing an evolution of these different reaction or summary videos, I'm quite curious as to whether you two like them as well, and if so, why and what are your favorites?
Well, to be very honest, I don't really like these condensed forms or recap
really?
summary videos because I feel like they spoil the entire purpose of watching a drama or reading a book as their original form, because they miss out on the little nuances or the details that make them enjoyable. And I personally really like watching those details. And in the past, I used to watch reality dating shows, but I would watch them at 1.5 times or twice the speed to really quickly run through them without wasting too much time watching everything, but I wouldn't miss on the details as well. I would just look through them quickly.
Right, so you would half your time as to watching the content, but you didn't want to miss any details out. What about you, Jian?
I love watching those clips. I love it. You know, I think I watch them every single day. I don't have much time to go to the cinema, and I do think sometimes, you know, watching 2-hour film or drama is sort of waste of time, you know, sometimes. So, and I find it enjoyable to watch these kind of contents at 1.5 times speed for the sake of my time efficiency. You know?
Even shorter. Than
Indeed, indeed. When I watch videos or clips, I think I've never written a comment before in my life.
Really?
But I do read some of them. What kind of issues are controversial, or what kind of jacket is she wearing, you know? And when I upload videos on my YouTube channel, I can see some comments, subscribers engaging in lively discussions with each other in various topics or issues.
And if I may add on, I personally love reaction videos because it's really nice to see what the public is thinking. For instance, if we look at music video reaction videos, you could say, oh, there was a line like that, or as you mentioned, that K-pop idol is wearing this particular uniform or outfit, and I'm like, oh, I never knew that. You get a lot of information from these reaction videos. Now, we asked our viewers if they're also big fans of these types of clips. If you take a look at the screen, you can find out what 3 of them had to share with us. Let's start with User. User says, I often watch content summary videos so that I can save my time. When I find the content interesting through the summarized videos, I sometimes watch the full content. Benny said, for me, I've watched the reaction videos for a bit, for example, K-pop music videos from a fan's perspective, and some sports highlights where some content creators react. Maybe I see the rise of how normal people or fans would react based on their opinions with or without a filter. Jack says, I love reaction videos very much, especially when it's people tasting foreign snacks or listening to a different genre of music. I completely agree with all of our viewers there, but we're now going to hear from an expert as to what this trend means and what we can expect from our generation's demand for reaction and summary videos. We're now going to hear from a professor of internet studies at Curtin University in Australia. It's Professor Crystal Abaddon. Welcome, Professor.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, let me ask you the first question. Why do you think our generation likes watching these so-called reaction or summary videos these days?
Well, your panel has already gone through some of the key points, like being impatient and also wanting to be an active consumer. But I think the most important thing to remember about this generation is that we're always seeking online community in place of being not able to congregate in spaces anymore or feeling detached from people just due to the side effects of urbanization. So for me, the main reason people really enjoy reaction and summary videos is that it encourages active consumption. It encourages you to be attached to the content as you respond to it, but it also allows you to prolong the lifespan of your watching activity. It's not just watching an hour of a K-drama or a concert and going away, but rather you get to have the afterlife with the conversation and find community with people who may enjoy that as well.
I see. Well, then, has this content consumption trend changed the production atmosphere or process for content creators as well? If so, how?
Yeah, most definitely. I think we're seeing an increasing casualization of the backdrop of these conversations. Some of them on YouTube started out as 2 or 3 people in a studio, slowly it shifted into them literally in a living room. And these days, I'm seeing these reaction videos of people just holding their phones, streaming out of their sofas with the television still playing. It's meant to give us this living room setting that feels more invitational, feels more comfortable, feels more parasocial, so that people are invited into this space. But more importantly, all of this is meant to give us the idea of simulated co-presence, as if we are there, sharing an emotive space, sharing a space in a movie theater, and enjoying this sort of connection, both with the screen, both with the content, and also with the back-end texting with people.
Interesting. So what are some overlooked disadvantages from this type of trend, though?
Well, from the production side and the creator side, obviously one of the first drawbacks is the accusations that it's becoming more lazy. We're seeing fewer and fewer people produce original content. They're basically just reacting to pre-made contents by other people. So there's a bit of accusations around plagiarism as well, because there are only so many ways you can react. The second most effective commentary I've had about this is that we're also literally enforcing these people to have predetermined sets of reactions. You've got to emphasize, exaggerate, and dramatize, because nobody wants to watch someone with a K-drama reaction going, all right, that's great. You're meant to simulate those active feelings of liveliness, but sometimes that can also come across as a bit too forced.
I see. And you've been talking about mostly reaction videos, but if we focus our interview more now to the summary videos, we are seeing a lot of people, including myself, not have that long of an attention span anymore. I mean, we're really used to shorts and reels these days. Now, if we continue to see a trend where we're opting more for these summaries or recaps, do you think it'll have a toll on our attention span and even up to the point of our media literacy?
Well, I suppose that if we are remembering that these people are using some of these summary videos as a teaser or as a selection process, then the good news is that we're thinking of them as being more picky and more active consumers. They don't just want to know who is starring in the film. They'd like to know, is there a plot line? Does this align with my values and morals? I know, for example, there are online communities where people ask, is there a pet in the story? Are they going to be okay or are they going to die? And then to avoid these subjects. Parents of grief also have online communities where such teasers help them pick things that do not trigger feelings that they don't want to explore or do not trigger their PTSD. So that is one positive aspect. But of course, as you say, for people who are consuming summary videos in place of the actual contents, then we're seeing new formats that are experienced by people requiring short bursts of contents associated with short bursts of attention span. But this is also linked to the fact in our society today, we're only being afforded these short avenues to consume contents on the bus, on the train, in between meetings, rather than back in the day coming home in the early evening and being able to sit in front of the television for hours.
And before we let you go, Professor, earlier on in our news feed, we talked about how YouTube isn't doing the best at regulating all these adult content or violent content out there. And my concern based on this interview is, as much as we're seeing such a wide array of different content come out, what do you think needs to be better done to educate people from a young age as to having better media literacy and being better protected from dangerous content out there?
So for a lot of the platforms themselves, they have started regulating this by enforcing labels that creators have to put on. If it contains violent content, trigger content, or even these days, even AI content, they're meant to us, to put the label so people as active consumers know how to treat that information. That said, though, as a consumer, when we're bombarded by so much of this information, those labels might pass us by because it's just at the point of saturation. So it's very important for consumers ourselves to also equip our native knowledge as we navigate these local spaces to find out what triggers me, what is considered good quality content in this platform, in this prerogative, where can I go to verify the sentiments coming out of this space, who are the people I trust online that can act as my peer reviewers to make sure that this content is okay to consume.
Those were some great pointers. That was Professor Crystal Avedon from Curtin University. Thank you so much, Professor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and apart from reaction and summary clips, I'm quite curious as to what type of content you guys enjoy watching, and what do you think we'll be seeing more, especially since we're seeing rapid evolution in terms of video content out there?
Well, apart from reaction videos and summary videos, I like watching News Generation.
Is that okay? That seems very scripted.
I know it was. But all jokes aside, I don't like watching reaction videos per se, like I said earlier, but I remembered I do like watching the reactions of celebrity panels react to the videos that they watch on programs because I like relating to their reactions. And if their emotional sort of frequency is similar to mine, then I can relate to them very well. And I feel like I feel very close to these celebrities, even though they're not. Anyway, and I think these shorter versions of videos will become increasingly popular among our younger generation. But I do hope that we can really strike a balance between watching these shorter videos as well as the original forms, whether it be videos or even books. Because like you said, and like Professor Abedin said, we are losing our attention span. And I think this can take a toll on our critical thinking skills, as well as it can negatively impact our behaviors as well and make us more impulsive, which could be quite concerning.
And as you mentioned in the very beginning, I do think I am looking forward for someone making a reaction video for News Generation. Maybe not a summary video because we want them to watch the whole episode. But what about you, Jian?
Yes, I do enjoy watching drama summaries and also the shorts. I tell myself, Jushan, this is going to be your last shorts before going to bed, but I end up watching hundreds more every single night. Yes, and I do believe that this popularity, this trend will continue for a while, but because it is inviting. These are exciting and stimulating contents that gives us a dopamine boost. So we should concern about a popcorn brain. Popcorn brain occurs when one consumes excessive amount of short and attention-grabbing contents. It makes us difficult to think deeply and pay attention, focus on some subject. So it's kind of important to think about our mental health before watching or after watching shorts or reels.
Exactly. I think we gave you guys great pointers as to how you can better boost up your media literacy today, and hopefully today's episode can really facilitate that. Now, in the meantime, we'll be here every day from 9:30 to 10 a.m. Korea time, bringing you more topics young people are talking about. Special thanks to Chiji.
Thank you.
And Kwon Juyeon.
Thank you for having me.
All right, and thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. We are News Generation.